About the future, I mean, I wish I had a certain fight coming up, but they heard B Norm the Storm coming, and you know I know what happened when the storm comes. You grab your boots and run. So we shall see what's next for me. Hopefully October or November we can get some in, but we shall see.
まあ、そうですね、また嵐が待っています。10月、11月と試合が組まれることになると思うんですけれども、どんな嵐が待ち受けているかというところも含めてストームと戦い。
All right, so Brian Norman Jr. dropped a bar about Jaron Boots Ennis. I believe his father was talking a little bit in the back about Boots and them getting out of Dodge. What he say? He said, Brian, the storm, the storm Norman is coming, and Boots shaking in his boot. So now they doing what any smart person would do in this situation. You know, a guy is saying he going up to 154 pounds, leaving the division. You're going to act like you big and bad. It's great for promotion. It's great for publicity. It make you look better. I mean, especially when he was saying not too long ago, I don't have no problem making weight, which that can change, especially the age that he had, 27, 28, 29, 30. That body started to change. And now they just basically, you can look at it as, Boots really ducked them. You could look at them as, them basically like the one guy in class that talks shit when the teacher and security around or the teacher around, he got a lot to say. The teacher, you go use the bathroom and ain't nobody in the room. He quiet as a church mouse when there's space and opportunity. And I think people could look at it either or way. A lot of people sit on the fence and they pick a side. I don't like Boost, so I'll be with Norman. I don't like Norman, I'll be with Boost. The fact of the matter is, Eddie Hearn made them an offer. People said, I think it was $1 million, whatever, 2 million. They said it wasn't enough, right? They started talking about they got to pay Top Rank. They cut, and after taxes, they wouldn't have that. And then people point around and be like, okay, then he fought old buddy on a female undercard for $200K. So what are we talking about? You turn down $1 million, $2 million to fight somebody for $200K. They can make the case and say, look here, we was coming off a hand injury. The fight got pushed back. Wanted to make sure the hand good, but we want to be paid. We want to be compensated without the hand properly. You know what I'm saying? Like, we going to Philadelphia in a unification bout. You know what I'm saying? That, if we do win, it doesn't catapult us into Mayweather post De La Hoya. It doesn't put us in a position even when Errol Spence beat Kell Brook. I mean, we are a unified champion, but it's not on a grand scale. It's not a Vegas fight. You know what I'm saying? It's not even an MSG fight. We fighting in your background, your backyard, whether it be Atlantic City or somewhere in Philadelphia. It's not a monumental fight. It's not a pay-per-view fight, which I have no problem with. I think we need good fights on regular ESPN and regular DAZN to build the platform. So you could look at it from that point. And they're on two different timelines. I believe they're about 4 or 5 years apart. I think Brian Norman's 23, Boost 27, 28. So Brian Norman, 8th grade, Boost probably getting out of high school or graduate, Norman in 9th grade. So there's some time in between them, and Brian Norman, Top Rank ain't gonna rush it, even though they put him in a position to cash out and get rid of him, and he beat the Mexican. They like, okay, we might have a star in our hand. He got signed based off the hype that you heard in the gym. Knocking down Buzz several times. That was a rumor, and I heard people on Buzz side confirm that. It's sparring. Running through Javante Davis and all these hard sparring wars. He's sparring to kill, and they sparring to work. You know what I'm saying? He trying to make a name for himself, put him in this position. So you could look at it from either which way. Me personally, if they got in the ring, I would pick Jaron Ennis to win that fight right now. I was in town saying that like Norman might hit harder, and really, I don't really think it's about who hit harder. I don't really think that's, you can't quantify that really visually. Really, what you quantify is who can take the abuse. You know what I'm saying? Who can take each other's shot? I think before you start about who hit harder, who can take the shot? Who can evade the shot? Who can disarm the opponent? And right now, I think Boots is equipped to disarm his opponent. But what I will say, he get caught. He has defensive lapses, and he gets caught. And if Norman can catch him with one of those shots, you know what I'm saying? Boots ain't as elusive as people make it seem. He's more of an offensive juggernaut. He like his uppercuts, and that's one thing I like, his hooks. You know what I'm saying? He has the illusion that he's this defensive guy, but he's an offensive guy. He's an offensive guy. You know what I'm saying? And that's why the Boots and Virgil or Boots and Norman fight is so so good, because you got two offensive guys in there. Could Boots be defensive in there? I never seen it. Can he clean the defense up, or can he not take chances? Some people can be great. Being great defensively is a mindset, in my opinion. It's a mindset, and from the mindset of, you got to have patience, and that's one thing you can respect about Shakur Stevenson, is that he has the patience. Yes, he has the patience to be defensive like that. You got to have the patience. You know what I'm saying? You have to have the discipline to know when to strike and when not to strike. And be a lot of them guys like Ryan and Rowley, the reason they got knocked out for Tank is they didn't have the patience. To be a fighter, you have to have patience. And that's the only thing you really ask about. You seeing with Norman, he's starting to get some patience, and he's starting to calm down a little bit. It's like a puppy turning into a dog. And with Boots, you just wonder, like, you could see he could be great defensively, but does he have the patience to really tone it down and pick his shots offensively? That's the question. You see Gary Russell, he's another hyper fighter. All his brother trying to get him to do is to slow down, take your time. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to be a buzzsaw. You see that with a lot of fighters that's gifted with offensive skills. They just want to get to it. You got to understand, this ain't the amateurs. This ain't 3-4 round fight. What did Vin Diesel tell Dominic Toretto tell the white dude at the end of Tokyo Drift? He said, this ain't no 10-second ride or something like that. You know what I'm saying? It's not. So when you start seeing guys like Floyd and guys like Shakur Stevenson and guys like that, like you really gotta understand the focus and the discipline and the patience you have to be able to fight that style. Most guys ain't gonna sit there. They ain't gonna help themselves but to make the first move. So it depends on where you sit at. Of course, if somebody run away, I'm act like I'm a big dog. I'm act like I'm big dog. I ain't gonna, you ain't want none of this. That's what people do. They're gonna use this as promo. Even if they fight down the line, it's still great promo. I knock out Sasaki. This is what he was running from. You got people in the comment. Oh, that's why Boots didn't want to fight him. You can talk about who hit harder, who can disarm who can defend who punches, who can catch who. It ain't about who can catch who. And right now, I'm about to say the better fighter is Boots. I don't really think the Normans had any intentions on fighting Boots. The gap is too wide. The age gap is too wide. You know what I'm saying? Boots is probably starting to hit his physical prime. I don't really think they really wanted to make that fight. I don't. I don't. Just being real. I don't think Top Rank wanted to. I don't think the Normans wanted to. They want to build that shit up. They want to marinate that fight. But of course, I put hands and foot and toes on a nigga and elbows on him. After I did what I did to him, yeah, that's why Boots didn't want to fight me. He ran. He already gone. You think he gonna stop? Slow down, baby. When they got the club, call my curfew. Call my PO. Don't call my P. It's past my curfew. Don't call my PO. It's like, yeah, say stop, slow down. Like they ain't gonna come back, bro. Ain't no coming back. You know what I'm saying? So I'd play the role too. That's what you supposed to do. This ain't just the fight game. This is promotion. This is marketing. Yeah, I'm the big dog in the yard. I ran that motherfucker up out of here. That's what I mean. Gotta play the role. And all it's gonna be is lip boxing. Boots ain't coming down and Norman ain't coming up. They just gonna talk pop shit. They just gonna build the fight and probably kikiing and laughing on the phone. We're fighting 2028. You know what I'm saying? They be making little rendezvous and shit like that. So, like I continue to say, man, it is what it is. The formula for them is to build, and a lot of these guys building, and guys is losing and whatever. Norman, they might have an agreement to fight Haney. In my mind, the Haney's either desperate, it don't make sense. Yeah, I get it, but what's the end game at 47? It ain't Ryan, it ain't Rowley. You know what I'm saying? Is it Pacquiao? No, there was rumors that Devin tried to fight Pacquiao at 40 a few years ago. So I don't know, but no, quite honestly, any sane person that's trying to get their name out there was do that. So, are they gonna fight? Probably not. You probably never get to see it. But yeah, it is what it is, dog. But yeah, I'll pop my shit too. I'll talk a whole bunch of shit. Absolutely. Yeah, he didn't want it. He didn't want it. Yeah, he ran up out of here. Now people like, I'll come back. Huh? But I was watching Home Improvement. Huh? but uh, but yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. Let me know what y'all think. Hit the link tree. Check out the Patreon, Troy channel, Free Game 89 channel. Follow me on X and all the other social media platforms. Appreciate y'all. One time for the one time. Peace.